What's up guys? It's been a while since my last video, which was during my 6-week trip to South Korea and Japan. I was originally planning on making videos during my time there, but I was just so busy running around everywhere trying to get photos and making the most out of my time at the location, and as well as resting appropriately, which basically wasn't much since I was running around everywhere, like I said before, getting photos. And I really didn't get to rest much until I unfortunately caught a cold my last week in Tokyo, which essentially forced me to relax. But anyways, I'm back now, ready to make some more videos. In this week's video, I want to talk about some of the gear that I regret bringing on this 6-week long trip. Compared to my trip to South Korea and Japan last year, I made many changes to my travel setup, so I had no doubt I would do the same this time and this year. And to no surprise, I did do that. I definitely have a better idea now of what I absolutely do use and what I absolutely don't use or even touch when I go on these photography trips. Starting with the first piece of gear. So the first piece of gear that I regret bringing to this trip is my DJI Mini 3 Pro. So let me explain first about the reason why I brought the drone. So the reason why I brought the drone is because there was a section in Japan that I really wanted to get a photo of. There's a place near Numazu, which is a town in Japan that I really love. And there is a section that I wasn't able to get to because the buses don't run there anymore. And that caught me by surprise because when I went there last time in 2019, the buses were there. Obviously it's been 5 years, or I guess 4 years since then, so things changed, quite drastically. But yeah, short story, I wasn't able to get to the location that I wanted to get to use my drone. And I basically bought this drone for nothing because I didn't get to use it during the trip. So that's kind of sad. And also just one more thing about why I regret bringing this drone is if it was only this drone that I had to carry and it was rechargeable by itself, that's fine, I'm perfectly cool with that. But the thing is, if I have to bring the controller, if I have to bring also the battery chargers, so I can charge multiple batteries all at once, then it starts becoming a bit more heavy and a bit more space taking, So especially since I put all my camera gear in my Peak Design medium camera cube, and hey, if you look at this already, it takes quite a bit of space that you can see. So yeah, in the future, if I do bring my drone when I travel, I would definitely be making sure that I actually do use it and not just bringing it, as a just in case kind of situation. I want to actually get the chance to use it, and if I don't use it, then like I said before, it just ends up taking space, which could be used for other things, other gear, or I could just leave it empty and save weight when I go traveling, because weight is very important when you're traveling. You don't want to be carrying all that stuff and next thing you know, your back's starting to hurt. So yeah, in summary, the drone is the first piece of gear that I regret bringing. So the second piece of gear that I regret bringing on this trip is my DJI RS3 Mini Gimbal. There's nothing wrong with this gimbal. I actually absolutely love this gimbal. But the reason why I regret bringing this on my trip is the same reason that I regretted bringing my drone, in that I didn't even use it on my trip. I did say that it is small. Yes, it is small. It is light, but at the same time, it's still weight. It still takes space in my luggage, and I could save all that space if I didn't bring it. Now, the reason why I did bring it, again, the same as a drone. I love taking videos. I love, making these little fun videos, especially when I travel. I like making these little fun travel videos. But when I'm traveling for photography, what I notice is that I end up using all my time, like literally all my time, for photography. Because at the end of the day, I'm a photographer first. I go to these locations for pictures, and then everything else is kind of second, Obviously, I do travel, I take photos, on my phone, whatever, but I go there because I want the photos. So I'm a photographer first, and then, I'm a, whatever you want to call it, videographer or whatever. I don't really consider myself that, but yeah, whatever you want to call it, I'm that second. So that's why I brought it. And yeah, that's also why I regretted bringing this. I'm not going to bring this on a trip unless I can basically ensure myself that I can put aside a couple of days for video, and only video, not photography whatsoever. And that's the sort of thing I need to make time for. I don't want to, end up with some half-ass kind of video, right? Like, I want to put all my efforts and all my time. And unless I can do that, there's no point in bringing a gimbal, because I can just stabilize whatever video that I have in post. I can just, use other methods instead of using a gimbal to get my videos that I need. And if I don't need the gimbal, then why bring it, right? Why use all that space in my luggage to save for a gimbal? So yeah, I will not be bringing my gimbal on my next trip unless I know for sure I can use it. So the next pieces of gear that I regret bringing to this trip, yes, there are multiple in this one, are all my lenses. So this includes my 85mm Zeiss Batis, my 35mm Sony Zeiss lens, and then my 55mm Sony Zeiss lens. So the reason why I'm not bringing all these lenses is because there's really no point in bringing all these lenses. I don't need 3 primes and 2 or 3 zooms. Like, that's just too much, right? Like, I can just get away with what I basically got through my entire trip with 2 lenses. 3 lenses the most. And again, like I said before, I'll be making another video when I finalize my travel setup, and I'll be sharing that with y'all. So stay tuned for that. So the fourth piece of gear that I regret bringing on this trip is my ECM B10 Sony mic. And again, like with my gimbal, there are no problems with this mic whatsoever. It's a fantastic mic, and I actually like using it whenever I get the chance to use it. Now, the reason why I wouldn't bring this with me when I travel is because, well, let me first explain why I brought it in the first place. So I brought this in the first place because I wanted something to vlog with in case, I did end up vlogging. I vlogged like once or twice because, again, I was busy going everywhere. I was worrying about my photography first rather than, vlogging for YouTube or, vlogging a video or whatever. So that wasn't really my main concern, which is why I barely used it. So that's the first reason why I regretted bringing it. The second reason I regretted bringing it is because even if I did want to vlog, I could have vlogged even without this mic, right? Because I brought my Rode mic anyways, because like I said before, I was planning on doing a couple of YouTube videos when I traveled, but I was busy and I couldn't make time for it because I wanted to actually enjoy the city that I was in as well. So yeah, I could have used this mic to vlog as well. So I don't need two mics when I travel, and I'd rather just bring this one because not only is this one smaller, but it's not as, noticeable as having this mic on your camera. So yeah, that was the reason why. I can just use this as a substitute for basically both YouTube and for this, vlog mic. And yeah, I found this out while traveling. It's very important to get tools or to get gear that can really do multiple things. That way you don't have to bring, multiple pieces of gear. You can just use one gear for 3-4 things. So that saves me a bit of space right there. So the last piece of gear that I regret bringing on this trip is my small Manfrotto tripod. So the reason why I brought this tripod is because I actually did use this tripod quite a bit when I was traveling to South Korea and Japan in 2022. This was actually one of my main type of tripods that I use because, it's easy, compact, small. Why not use this instead of a big tripod, right? So I use this. So the differences between this year's trip and last year's trip when talking about tripods is that I basically use my big tripod 99% of the time. And I felt like I'd rather just bring the big tripod and deal with the weight and the size of it, even when I'm just walking around, rather than this small tripod, because of all the opportunities I can get. If I'm walking around the city, especially when I don't have a specific plan in mind, then if I see something and I need a big tripod, I don't have to worry about, I only have this small tripod. What am I gonna do? Like, I can just pull out the big tripod, set it up, get the photo, and I don't have to worry about anything because I have everything I need in my backpack. I have my tripod, I have my camera, 24-70, and also to mention as well, this small tripod really can't support big lenses in the front. Yeah, this isn't really the best lens for that type of setup. So yeah, that's the reason why I regretted bringing this piece of gear. There are many things that I learned from my past trip that let me once again look at my travel kit and improve on it, hopefully making it more efficient for the next trip and eventually my long-term trip. I feel like I have quite a good setup right now, but there's probably still some things I can leave out. But for now, these are all the things I can comfortably say I don't need, and we'll be making the appropriate changes for my next trip. Well, I hope this video was entertaining for y'all and gave y'all some ideas for your own travel setup. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Later.